In the summer of 1935, the Boeing Airplane Company unveiled a new, massive four-engine bomber. One Seattle journalist dubbed the plane, which was bristling with machine gun emplacements, a Flying Fortress. This is the story of the B-17 Flying Fortress. This is World War II in two. I'm Cory Graff at the National WWII Museum in New Orleans. As the world edged closer to a Second World War, Boeing began building B-17s by the thousands. Each plane carried a crew of 10 men armed with a dozen machine guns and hauled a payload of high explosive bombs. The B-17s were used all over the world, but the plane is perhaps most famous for its large-scale bombing raids over Europe. Flying from bases in England and Italy, American B-17s and other bombers traversed thousands of miles over occupied territory to strike refineries, factories, and key infrastructure in cities like Berlin, Cologne, and Munich. The air war over Europe was brutal and deadly. Despite being heavily armed, the B-17s worked best flying in large groups and when escorted by friendly fighters like the P-51 Mustang. Together, they formed huge formations capable of fighting their way to their targets, unleashing tons of bombs, and then making the long journey home. The B-17 was not the biggest or fastest bomber in the Army Air Force's inventory, but it was one of the toughest. Crews praised it for its ability to keep flying after being mangled by enemy fire. Resilience, often described as flying back on a wing and a prayer, gave crews the courage to brave the war-torn skies over Europe for 25 or more combat missions. Today, B-17s are a rare sight. Of the over 12,000 built, only about 40 complete airframes remain. The National World War II Museum displays a Boeing-built B-17E model that was delivered to the Army in March of 1942. It was nicknamed My Gal Sal and was lost when it crash-landed in Greenland just a few months after entering service. My Gal Sal stands as a tribute to the designers, builders, and brave crews of one of America's most iconic and revered combat aircraft, the B-17 Flying Fortress.